Lattafa Oud For Glory. This is Lattafa's clone of Initio Parfum's Oud For Greatness. But before we get into this, let's roll my music. Now, I don't own Oud For Greatness. I don't own Initio Oud For Greatness, nor have I smelled Initio Oud For Greatness. But what I have smelled is Initio's Blessed Baraka. Blessed Baraka puts me in the same mindset of this. There are some differences. Some people claim that from this they get like a plastic vibe. And if you're not used to smelling oud with a little bit of sweetness, sometimes it can come off that way like it's burnt plastic or something like that. I've heard that before. That's what Rock Bar used to give to me, if you ever heard of that fragrance. But that's for another day. I must say, they got down on this bottle. This bottle really does look like Oud For Greatness. I can't even lie to you. I am familiar with Initio Parfum bottles, and this bottle is spot on with weight and everything else. Of course, the cap is not the same, but the cap does have a little weight to it. You can tell this is really inspired by Oud For Greatness, for sure. Now let's get into the scent. At first spray, this one right here is very herbal. You get the saffron. The saffron is real spicy, a little sweet. Then along after that, that smokiness from the agarwood starts to come in. It's very masculine. After about 30 seconds or so, then that sweet tobacco starts to come in, just enough for you to be like, okay, you know, I can really deal with this. So if it wasn't for this sweet tobacco, you know, you probably like, what the hell is this? And let me get away from it. But the sweetness of that tobacco makes this fragrance very unique, and it keeps your attention. After about 20 minutes, that saffron kind of mellows down, and you're left with a sweet tobacco. It's woody, and you also get a nice musk in the base. All that comes together and blends very, very well to give you a masterpiece, in my opinion. With Oud For Glory, I get whiffs of myself about 6 hours. You get a nice scent bubble. People will appreciate you, especially if this is something that you're wearing on a date night or if you're dressed up really well. It adds to that masculine factor. But then again, all that is based on you as well. I've heard some people say, along with Oud For Glory and many other Middle Eastern scents, that they're not as strong as people say they are and things like that. But it's something that you got to realize when you have these houses like this, and any designer too as well. When you first get it, you need to let it breathe. Just like a fine wine, you got to let it breathe. So, you know, spray it a few times, maybe set it on the shelf, come back to it. And I promise you, after time, after it macerates or whatever they call it, stuff like this, they get stronger. And you're going to wish you brought your second bottle. I'm going to be honest with you, this is not one that everybody will appreciate. Sometimes things like this have to grow on you. For instance, Blessed Baraka. At first sniff, I couldn't stand the stuff. I had to come back about a year later and revisit it, and I really liked it. And sometimes too, it's the time of year. So if you was to wear, you know, this one right here, this Oud For Glory in the spring or summertime, it might come off a little cloying, and you might not even like it. But since this is a very dense fragrance, and during the colder months, you know, your olfactory sensory nerves are a little bit different, it kind of tones it down a little bit for your nostrils. And, you know, I really do appreciate scents like this in the fall and winter time. That's in this, when you look it up, you're going to get saffron, you're going to get agarwood, you're going to get nutmeg. I really don't get nutmeg too much in here. And also musk. If you like what you heard right here, like, share, subscribe. I'm Mr. Scott01. Have a nice night. And also, too, Merry Christmas if I don't see you before then.